Hello, you guys. Welcome back to our channel.
Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Tori has, I guess, a Q&A. She shared with me some of the questions, and I told her, I was like, hey, I want to be surprised. But from the ones that she mentioned, I was like, oh, Lord, I guess we're going to go there. So
we're going to get into it. Before that, we do want to thank Fabric by Gerber Life for sponsoring this video. It's an amazing way to level up your family, but we'll get into that a little bit later. These questions are so good. I'm just going to literally jump in because where do I want to start?
I'm kind of nervous now.
I mean, you shouldn't be nervous. I mean, I think they're fun. They're good questions. They're real questions. Is your life more fulfilled with kids? And do you ever miss when it was just the two of us?
I definitely miss when it was just the two of us.
You do?
Yeah, like I don't want that life back. But just like we miss our old house. I look back in a time of our old house and it was just so special to me. And also like being married to you where it was just you and me giving each other like undivided attention was also really special.
Yeah.
But I would not trade that for what we have now at all.
Yeah.
Like there's no question there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean like Tori and I took this trip one time to Mexico. It was like a spur of the moment thing. We found this crazy deal. It was like,
great.
what was it? It was like $500 and you get flights in 6 days at like a 5-star resort.
Yeah.
And we booked it and we left. And that was, and that's not to say people can't do that with kiddos, but it was just this, it was just a different experience.
Different season.
Yeah.
I would say I'm more fulfilled in this season, but I don't feel like I was lacking fulfillment or purpose in the previous season either.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, God just has different things for you in each season of your life. And I feel like each season of your life is preparing you for the next. If you look at it as preparation ground and you're not just wishing away the season for the next, but you're actually embracing and you're present in that season, then you can look back on it with fondness and be like, oh no, I loved that season. I was fulfilled in that season. There was purpose in that season. But I wouldn't go back because God has something different for me in this season of our lives.
Yeah, and I'm not like arguing with that at all. I do feel like I feel more fulfilled in parenthood.
Yeah.
And because I don't want to say like I hit like the ceiling in terms of just married life without kids, whatever. But I do think that parenthood is like stretched me in ways I didn't know I needed to be stretched. Specifically the stuff I've shared with you all about like my counseling journey.
Yeah.
And just like I literally had a moment. I got back yesterday from a quick trip and I asked Micah if he wants to go check the mail with me, and we just walked down the driveway to go check the mail, and it was just so sweet. He just like reached for my hand and he just looked at me and smiled.
Yeah.
And
he loves you so much.
It's just this moment of, again, and I'm not trying to make this all about that, but then my head goes, oh, like, can I look at God like that? You know, is he excited to be with me? And so it's just one of those things where I feel like I'm feeling more close to God.
Yeah.
And the fulfillment's coming from him.
Right.
Yeah. So anyways, next question.
Love it. Are we going to get a dog?
No. We love dogs.
Love dogs, but we are not in a season for dogs.
Yeah, our hands are full right now.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. We can embrace going to friends' houses and loving on their dogs and then coming back.
We would also want to give a dog like the best life but if like say we're going to be traveling, for example, whenever we renovate our current home, we have to leave for a few months, and it's one of those things like, where do we go? If we're going to crash with family, can you bring a dog?
Yeah.
It's just, you know, there's just a lot of things, and we wouldn't want to
it just makes, I feel like, traveling a little bit more difficult when you have a dog. And with where we're at in our life right now, it's a no. But we've always said maybe when our kids are like a decent amount older, like 5, 7, 10, 12, like in that area where taking care of the dog can be like part of their responsibility and like a learning ground for them. But we know that a dog would just be one more thing added to our plate right now. We can't handle anything else on our plate right now. Okay, another question. I love this. I feel like a lot of you probably know the answer to this, but maybe some of you don't. But are we planning to homeschool our boys? Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, there's an amazing like co-op here where we live as well, where a lot of different like families that we're friends with do homeschool together. And just for me and my personality, like I'm so excited to homeschool with a community of people and not know that it's all on my shoulders, but that we can even like rotate and do different days. And like 2 days a week they go out to a farm and it's like forest school, but everyone's together, all the parents are there, and it's just, I love that type of learning environment, especially because I'm such a like visual and experience learner. Like that's how I learn the best. And so knowing that and like hoping that blesses my kids too.
Yeah. This is probably a very clean segue for me to talk about Fabric. And if you've never heard of Fabric, Fabric was designed by parents for parents to make it easy to plan for and manage your family's financial path. With a kids investment account from Fabric, you can start investing in your child's future today. And the reason I wanted to talk about this regarding like the homeschooling question is we as parents, and I'm sure if you are parents, you feel this pressure where you just want to do everything right. You want to get them the best foods that are non-toxic. You want to cook on non-toxic cooking stuff. You want to give them non-toxic clothes. You want to make sure they're hitting developmental milestones. There's a
lot.
There's a lot. Even like whenever we're meeting with our financial planner, there's questions that come up like, hey, what about college? Do you want to save for the college? What about weddings? Do you want to help them with their weddings? What about cars? Do you want to help them with their cars? His point is if you start now, it'll help you so much in the future. Yeah. And so regarding homeschooling for us, the reason why we're advocating for it, and that's not to say it has to be that way, is that we just want to make sure our children are learning the things to help them have a leg up. And that's why we're so excited about companies like Fabric that are helping families just like us and families just like you that are helping their children get a leg up with something as simple as an investment of like $1 a day, as little as $1 a day, or as much as you like. You can start investing in your child's future now, and you get to experience those compounding returns that'll just benefit them for years and years to come. But the difference between like a traditional 529 like education plan and the UGMA investment account is that this can actually be used for things like art supplies, for transportation, for books, for tuition, for mortgage, for so many more things than just your traditional educational path.
And I also love that you can literally just see it on your cell phone and you can see the compounding returns happening right in front of your eyes and just have specific goals for your children. But what I also really love, and if you're a parent, then you definitely know when the grandmas, grandpas, friends, and family, what should I get baby for Christmas or for birthdays, etc. And they literally have a giftable link that you can share where they can specifically invest into your children as well.
Yeah, I would say that's probably my favorite part about this is that people are always asking, like especially when your kid has their first birthday and everybody wants to go out and do all this stuff, and they'll buy all these toys that your kid will play with one time and then they'll never use it again, or they'll grow out of those clothes after like a week or two, but they have this giftable link that you can send out. And even like family members, grandmas, grandpas, they can even like set up matching where they can like match whatever you're contributing to your child's investment account. That's really just gonna, here honestly, we're gonna show this whole thing on their website where you can see the compounding returns benefit, and you can play with those numbers based off of what you feel you can contribute to it, and you can see what that number may be after 18 or 20 years of you guys contributing to this thing, and it's just incredibly powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you want to join thousands of parents who trust Fabric to help protect their family, start investing in your child today at meetfabric.com/Tori and Chad. That's meetfabric.com/Tori and Chad. Okay, and then the shocking question. Well, it feels shocking to me because our baby's not even 6 months old yet. But also, I'm like thinking in my head, I'm like, well, technically this is when we got pregnant with Noah, with Micah.
Is this?
We got pregnant when Micah was 6 months. We found out when he was 7 months.
I'm noticing a pattern. Or she's not pregnant.
I'm not pregnant.
Okay.
But everyone is asking, I'm just going to say all the different little ways y'all are asking it. When will we start trying for baby number 3? Are we thinking about baby number 3 now? Would we like to have a bigger age gap for baby 3? Now that you have 2, do you still want more / a lot of kids? Anyways, y'all get the point. There's a lot of baby number 3 questions.
Yeah. we're just honestly, having honest conversations about it.
Yeah.
Because I'm team, let's like sooner than later. And she's team, hey,
a little bit more of an age gap.
I probably need a bigger break. And honestly, like, let me just be clear for our female audience. I'm not going to like pressure her into this at all, but we are having conversations. My point of view comes from the side of like,
the first few months of both our boys' lives, they were a little bit tougher just in the sleep department, which after sharing my breastfeeding journey, I know a lot of other mamas out there experience like the same thing as me.
Which is great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not great that it's great that there's people that can talk about it.
Yeah, that we're not alone.
Yeah. And so, but my perspective is basically like, it can be hard now or it can be hard later. Yeah. And if it's going to be hard, not like hard in a bad way, but if it's just going to be something we have to really push through, then it's you pick, what do you want? And so for me, I'm kind of like, I like the idea of having closer age gaps, and I think it's because my brother and I are 4 years apart, and we were never close. And it's not a knock on him at all. I love my brother, he loves me, but he was always like, in a different school. He was driving, he was in a different sports program, different this, and I felt like our lives were very separate. And I think maybe I just wanted the closeness from being closer in age, and kind of like, it's not your friends, my friends, it's our friends, Right.
Yeah. I do think if we had a bigger age gap between at baby 3, then we would want to have like baby 4 again close. So it's like too close in age.
Yes, I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
But again, we're like so open to what God's timeline is for our family and our children. Transparently, just not really doing anything to prevent or try. Like, we're just open to what God has. And so we'll see. We'll see what he has written for our family. We are still, to answer the other question, excited to have more children, excited to grow our family. Again, I even feel funny about putting like a specific number on it. Like, I'm just like, Lord, like if you trust us with children, we believe that they're a heritage from you, that they're a blessing from you. And so in our ideal perfect world, we still are like, yeah, we would love 4, but what does God have for us?
Yeah.
So
yeah, definitely very open to it.
Yep.
I also think that things will like ease up a little bit as Micah and Noah start playing together.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Oh, and because play dates are like my saving grace. Like anytime there's another baby, it's funny how it gets easier.
Yeah.
Like if there's another baby around Micah's age where he can play, like so much easier. And it's so fun to watch them and all the things. And so we know like literally within the next couple of months, like when Noah starts being able to like get to Micah, it's going to be the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also really want a girl, so.
Okay, so the next question is, will you be a bit sad or disappointed at all if baby number 3 is a boy?
This is a hard question because I think the like politically correct answer is as long as the baby is healthy, you know? Yeah. And now would we be afraid of having another boy? No. Like, wow, like our family's about to get like wild and I love it. Yeah. But we also, I mean, we had a name for a girl before we even had Micah. Yeah. And so I think that we're still very, hopeful of having a girl.
And it's funny, when we were having the conversation about baby number 3 and the age gap and everything, we're like, if it is a boy next, we're like, oh yeah, let's go ahead and have another one, because we don't want him to feel like separated from the older 2 boys. But then it's like, well, if the baby 3 is a girl, then the age gap doesn't matter as much because she's just like protected by her 2 older brothers. Yeah. And so I'm just curious to see like when baby 3 will happen, like when that is in God's timing, and what that ends up being. Yeah, I'm with Chad. Politically correct answer is 0 disappointment at all. But we are like, we'll keep going until we meet that girl. Yeah. Because she's prayed over. She already has a name. Like, she's coming at some point.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah, Okay, this is just like a fun little side question, but I actually got a couple of them, so I figured we would answer, and y'all can comment below if you are in the area. But there was a lot of if we would ever consider doing like a meetup in Nashville or Franklin, and we would love to do that. And so if you are in the area and you'd be interested in that, comment below, and maybe we can do something.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, maybe around like the holidays, Thanksgiving, Franklin. So cute. Okay, this is a funny one from Adiria.
Of course.
How old are y'all now?
Oh my gosh. How old are we?
I'm 31.
I'm 34.
Wow. We're in our 30s.
Yes. My back can feel it.
30s.
I play pickleball on Thursday mornings, and yep, your boy can feel it.
Another one, do I plan on starting Talks with Tori anytime soon? And this was actually one of the questions that brought on the video where we talked about changing some things. And so we can even link that below, or above and below, all the things. But that quote that I shared about you cannot do 1,000 things to the glory of God, that was just one of those things where in this season, when we have so much going on with littles, that we're having the renovation project, we're going to end up having to move out again. It was just a little bit too much with having to like get guests on and coordinate that and times. And so we do have plans of Talks with Tori coming back, but it won't be until this house is like renovated and we're back in and settled and a little bit more of like a rhythm.
This was also like a point of contention for us.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I don't know if you all know this, but Talks with Tori is like Tori's love language.
I love it.
Like
I love it.
Like a girl talk for the girls, by the girls, whatever is her thing.
Yeah.
And so I was actually really advocating that she does bring it back sooner, but of course all the logistics of like planning around other people's schedules, who's going to be on the call, all the stuff makes it just okay. Let's just wait till we have the freedom of space,
the capacity.
But I would definitely was like, you got to get Talks with, because she would literally come downstairs in our other house.
So excited
after a call, and she'd be like, that was the best. I just wish I could do that again.
Yeah.
So.
And I love it so much. And there's so many women that you guys have even like asked for me to have conversations with. And so I feel like when the next season comes, it's going to be such a fun season. I do think that we're going to even have just like in-person conversations too.
I wish they could all be in person.
I know. That would be really fun. Maybe we'll try to do like a season where everyone's in person.
That'd be fun.
Also, Aderia, love you, girl. She said, will you decorate the house for fall or autumn? And this is like such a sad point for me. I will lie.
What's the difference between fall and autumn? Are they the same?
Just different words.
Oh.
I'm not decorating because in full transparency, we're not sure how long we're going to be in this house before we need to move out. And so some of y'all asked like how you could be praying for us. We're definitely in like a limbo unknown season where we're genuinely just waiting for permits to come back to get the timeline for the renovation of this house. So we're just like, we could have to move out in 2 weeks or 2 months and we're not sure. And so I'm definitely not like pulling the fall decor out of storage to like decorate this place because it just doesn't feel like.
Yeah, which is sad because that's like fall, winter is like our favorite time for like cozy home life.
Yeah.
So, but ultimately,
it'll be worth it.
Yeah, it'll be worth it.
It'll be worth it. Okay, number one tip for continuing your intimacy with the Lord in the season of having littles. So I think my number one tip is to not have what intimacy with the Lord looks like in a box, that it has to be this perfect, quiet moment with your journal and your coffee and candlelit, you know. I have a lot of moments with the Lord as I'm stewarding the time with my children. I have a lot of moments with the Lord when I'm rocking my babies to sleep. I have a lot of moments where I'm talking to him while I'm changing a poopy diaper, and it's like part of me stewarding the answered prayer that I prayed for so long in my quiet time with him. And now that doesn't negate getting in the Word of God, but sometimes when I'm in the Word of God, it's outside and I'm watching my littles run around and roll around and my Bible is out. And so I think just making sure that you don't have time with God in a box and you're inviting him into every moment of every day so that he comes with you. Like you're not going in and out of his presence, you're staying in his presence in different ways.
Yeah, I would say my tip's a little different from the perspective of, I mean, I guess it's actually very similar. I would focus less on like the nitty gritty of the specific details of how you're getting your quiet time for intimacy with the Lord. I think that my intimacy with the Lord has grown so much after having kids, and it's not for having more time to spend with God. I'll tell you that. And so I think that whenever I took a step back and I realized my purpose for my family, and I realized that God chose me to be the father of these boys, I have a different perspective on what that quiet time or that intimacy looks like. Whereas I felt closer to God, I shared this earlier in the video, I felt closer to God because of my son rather than before my son when I had a lot more time.
Yeah.
And I think that doing what Tori's kind of saying, pressing into those moments and how God is helping you, like how God is leading you, lead them.
Yeah.
And so now a lot of my time looks like, like how do I process this thing that we're experiencing, or how do I encourage the development, or how do I practice patience? And so it looks very different than my typical kind of, okay, here's my 14-step morning routine, I'm not throwing shade. I love morning routines. Honestly, my answer is no different than yours. It's exactly the same. I'm so sorry. That's my fault. It just sounded different, I think, to me.
Yeah.
Where it was more about just embracing that role that you have.
Yeah. And
how God is teaching you through the role. So, it was actually really the same.
Love it.
My bad for wasting your time.
It's not a waste of time. Okay. Last question, because I know we're getting real chatty, and it's a juicy one. Number 1 tip to continuing your intimacy. Oh, wrong one.
You just left it there. Number 1 tip for continuing your intimacy.
Well, it's similar. Tips for rekindling intimacy postpartum.
I don't is this how to get back going after a baby, or is this okay, you feel disconnected because you're not getting that one-on-one time together?
Maybe both.
I wish I had more details.
Well, okay, we'll even dive into that. Intimacy doesn't always have to be sex. Mm-hmm.
It's nice when anyways, go ahead.
Okay. Well, maybe we should just make a whole separate video on that situation.
First off, that's not to negate your question. I just wish I knew more of the details, because I'll share from my perspective. I feel closer to Tori than ever in a really tough season with 2 under 2. Mm-hmm. Tough for what we're used to. Tori and I live a very, very blessed life. And so this has been a season where we've really had to grow. We have less time together than ever. Mm-hmm. And I'm feeling closer to her because I'm seeing how hard she's working to serve our family. And I feel like our intimacy has grown in that capacity.
Yeah.
But the one-on-one kind of cute dates and stuff is at a low point.
Yeah, but we are having to be very intentional to get that time. And so I feel like when we get that time, it's even more special because we don't get it all the time anymore.
Yeah, you kind of have to get desperate for it a little bit. And you kind of, sometimes you got to put your money where your mouth is. And so if that means hiring a nanny for date night, if that means trusting someone to watch the monitor for you while you can just step aside and just go on a walk together, it's one of those things where it's no longer going to happen
without passively.
Yeah, passively. It's going to happen actively.
Yeah.
But that is also going to build intimacy because you see how hard you two are working to
see each
to
other.
Get in front of each other. Yeah, to see each other. And so that actually really does help intimacy because you it's wow, I see you. And we always talk about it. Intimacy is into me you see. Yeah. And it's wow, I see you. And I know that we only had an hour this week to talk, 1 hour, but I saw how hard you worked for our family. I saw how deeply you wanted that connection with me. And even if we're just laying in bed holding hands, there's just ways to feel connected, but you both have to just be working for it and actively pursuing it rather than just kind of we've said in our earliest videos from years ago that there's me, and then there's Tori, and then there's us. Yeah. And us at the time was a baby. And that baby required a lot more intention to the point where whenever we were dating long distance, I could handle without seeing Tori for several months. She could handle without seeing me for several months. It would be hard. Yeah. We could handle it, but our relationship probably couldn't handle it that well. And so we had to make time to make sure to take care of our relationship for the stage that it's in. And so I would encourage you to think with your husband or with your wife about what stage your relationship is in and giving it what it needs. We're going to close up here. Be sure to go to meetfabric.com/Tori and Chad to start investing in your child today. And we'll see you in the next one.
See you in the next one. Love you guys.
Adios.
Bye.